Founded in 2003, the Dream Center of Lakeland has always aimed to serve the community by meeting the real needs and offering resources for positive change. They have an event coming up that you don't want to miss. All the details are coming up on Polk Place. Welcome to Polk Place. I'm your host, Jeremy Morady, and with me today is Mike Cooper, the Executive Director for the Dream Center in Lakeland.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Oh, it's great to be here.
Well, I want to talk to you a little bit about stuff you guys have going on.
Sure.
And I know you guys do just a lot of good in the community and have some great partnerships.
Right.
But if you can, kind of start us back with a little bit of a history lesson on how you guys got started and how things have evolved through today.
Well, yeah, many years ago, Victory Church actually put a mobile truck out into the streets. It's called Kids Club today. They hit basically 3 neighborhoods during the week, and then on Saturday they'll bus 150 kids. Out of that, they birthed what they called Cheyenne Country Circle J, which they'll bus maybe 500-600 kids into a western town that they had built over behind the church. Mm-hmm. Well, that was fine, but it was always coming in and going back out again, and what needs were they really meeting? Long term. So they said, let's just.
So is it like an after-school program?
All these were just, they were just after school, or just drop in the community and play with the kids. So they decided what they needed to do was put a presence completely in the community. So Pastor Blackburn decided to, along with Publix and different organizations that came together, actually built the Dream Center. It's about $1 million building right on 15 Kettles. If you're not familiar with that, said if you go where Lakeland plays their high school football games, right across the street is Fifth. You go down across them, okay.
Yep.
So we've expanded since then. We bought an old laundromat, which is now our food pantry and clothing distribution. But everything we do, we started doing more and more things out on the streets. So what our main focus right now is that we want to become everybody's Dream Center. Not every church could go into an inner city like that and build a building and then have staff. So what's happening now, a lot of your churches in Lakeland, Highland Park Church, Church of the Mall, of course, Victory, all these churches, Free Life Chapel, all the larger churches, we have a number of smaller churches that are now coming doing outreaches through us. Mm-hmm. Because we're out in the streets, the Dream Center is known, so when anybody comes out and works with us, it's a good environment, it's safe. So out of that, when I took over the building, we had a small after-school program, but then I'm thinking, we got to get where the people are. Mm-hmm. That led to me become a chaplain for the Lakeland Police Department, which then a number of years ago, 3 years ago, we had a spike in gang crime. So with that, and knowing Chief Giddens real well, we just said, look, let's do some of our outreaches just built completely around the targeting gang kids, at-risk kids. That led to even like last week, we do 4 to 5 a year with them, outreaches. But last week, we had one over in Westgate Park. At that outreach, you have about 170 people came out. That's a good number. You don't want more than that. We've had them up to 550.
Wow.
It's too many. It's way too many. Yeah. So, out at that event, we started having again, Highland Park Church was the anchor church for that event. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, Chief Giddens will come out, all his assistant chiefs, police officers that are assigned to that area. They're all out walking the streets, going door to door. Code enforcement already has walked the area with us, so we know where the code issues are. And we tried to address those. We put out about 400 or 500 bags of food, all donated by Children's Baptist Home there in Lakeland. So it's really, everybody started to get on board with this, which makes them easier, but really just stokes the fire to do more and more in the community. And I believe that there is a decrease in gang violence because of it. And I don't want to get real scriptural or anything like that, but if the Bible says that you ran well, what cut in on you? If somebody running good, if something can cut in and trip them, why can't if somebody that's thinking evil, why can't good cut in on them? And so that's what we're seeing. So we put 400 or 500 bags of food out. We'll have anywhere from 200 to 300 flowers. They're just delivered door to door, and conversations start with people. What do you see in your community? What can we do to help?
Start making those personal connections.
Yeah. And then so the next time we come back in, we come in with a smaller group, or we find a church in that area and we let that church become the hub. And then they start doing more and more, and we supply stuff to them. So it's really been a I know that you're Polk TV, and the thing is, we stay mostly within the confines of Lakeland, which is Polk. But and we mostly do that because of focus. There's so much need, and to stay within those boundaries of the city right now. We try to do that. But
Well, really, it kind of reminds me, and I know your partnerships with law enforcement, but almost of the days of the old community-oriented policing, where
Yeah.
they got out into the community and had stations there, and you really make those connections and bringing
it.
people together and learning about stuff. I remember the spike a number of years ago and the gang violence that was going on. Back in my days as a reporter. So I remember covering a lot of that type of stuff, and things are definitely
Well,
on.
it was top
yeah.
news, and I think a story that you may be interested in. Just one of the outreaches we were doing, we had 250 kids from Church of the Mall, and we're just out. We're putting up clothing distribution tables. We have a bounce house. We're cooking, and before the event even started, a young guy stood off to the side for a long time. So we started talking to him. Well, come to find out, this kid was a troubled kid, 23 years of age. He had some issues. So I gave him my card and I said, hey, if you're not doing anything, I'm over at the center. Just stop by sometime. This was on a Saturday. On Monday, he stops in. Well, we find out later that he is one of the lead gang kids in Lakeland for the Ratchet Boys. And so in that, him and I watched probably 2 weeks of the Baltimore riots together. And I listened to his view. He listened to mine, and it was just a neat relationship developed. After about 3-4 month period, he just said, "Look, I've got to change. I got to get out of here." And we were connected with a program in Detroit that takes at-risk teens, and we sent him up there. Now think about that: you're sending a kid that has a gang issue, you're sending him to Detroit to get help. That just doesn't compute, does it? But he's been there for 2 years now. He's getting ready in June. We'll graduate with his regular diploma. He was getting his GED. Halfway through, they go, wait a minute, you're smart. So he's getting his regular diploma. He's working on his contracting license now. And so it's been exciting. You see something like that. And I asked him the other day, I said, you want to come back to Lakeland? He goes, I'd like to come back to visit, but I think I better stay with you. Because he just knows that draw.
Doesn't want to go down the same roads.
And Lakeland's it's a great city to do what we do. Because that partnerships, like I said, you mentioned, LPD, community policing. Well, that's the heart of Chief Giddens. I mean, that's what he wants to get back to. But monies and there's always something that you can't. But this is one thing they've done that really has helped with that. Like even Parks and Rec. I mean, we do outreaches. I mean, all these departments do solid waste. I mean, dumpsters are coming and they're paid for by a grant through the city. It's really been it's been a neat adventure.
Well, now you guys have an event coming up.
Right.
Talk to us a little bit about what's coming up with that.
Yeah,
your banquet, right?
Yeah, we have across the street. We have a vacant lot, and that vacant lot we've always wanted to develop it. Well, Kiwanis came along and said, "Hey, we'd like to do a kids park for you." But 2 blocks in one direction we have a kids park, and 3 blocks in the other direction they're both city-run parks that have playground equipment. So we said, let's do something very unique. So we're actually building a park that will have a stage and we'll have small pavilions. So we can become the hub, like Lakeland has First Fridays. We've often said, why can't we do a second Friday in our community, predominantly for the African American community? That will be a big step in that. So August 31st, Kiwanis will be holding a banquet at Victory Church. I think they have it 6 to 7. They'll have an auction. 7 to 9 will be the banquet. And all the proceeds from that, a little bit goes back to Kiwanis, but a majority of it will go to that development of the park. So it's going to be called Kids Club Park, which bounces off of the truck that we've had out in the community for 20 plus years. Think about that. I mean, the longevity. We always tell people all the time, anybody can show up one time. That doesn't do anything for the community. But when you outlive your critics, in other words, they ain't gonna last long. Next thing you know, you're there again, you're there again, you're there again. You become ingrained in that community. That's what we're seeing, which is really kind of a neat thing. But then again, that'll be at Victory Church on the 31st, held by Kiwanis. And if anybody, information, I'm sure you'll supply that later, but I'll just tell everybody to get in contact with me. And my email address is mcooper@Dream Center Lakeland. I'll give you more information, send it right out to you. But it's $500 a table. Good deal. Cattleman's catering it.
All right.
You can't beat that.
Good food, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is. So we think that is that's a real good project that I think once it's done, that community will be very usable and be very visible. I think it's going to be a neat opportunity.
Sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for coming in
Well, no
and
problem. I
joining
wish,
us.
wish we could everybody else, but it happens sometimes. Maybe you got the good looking one, so I guess all that know we know better than that, guys. We definitely know better than that. But thanks for the time today.
Oh, thank you.
And if we can do anything more for you, let us know.
At the Dream Center of Lakeland, they believe that the best way they can help others is by starting right where they are. That's why every day at the Dream Center, community members and volunteers come together to share lives and hope with each other. They invite you to their Kids Club Park and Dream Center Banquet Thursday, August 31st from 7 to 9 p.m. for a dinner and live auction at Victory Church at 1401 Griffin Road in Lakeland. Tickets are $25 per person and table sponsorships are available. For more information, you can give them a call at 863-640-1383 or look them up on the web at dreamcenterlakeland.org.